You just saw prospects 10 to 6. Now let's get into the top 5. I hope you guys are enjoying this prospect list. If you are, hit that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to get in on the discussion down in the comments. Go Habs, go baby. And at number 5, this slot is also shared between two prospects, but not skaters, goalies. And I paired these two up in this slot specifically to highlight the organizational depth that the Montreal Canadiens have. And we'll start with 24-year-old Mike McNiven. He's 6'1", 203 pounds. He was undrafted and then later signed as a free agent by the Montreal Canadiens, and what a fantastic signing. In the ECHL, he had around .930 save percentage average, and then strong stats in the AHL so far as well, hovering around that 900 average in the AHL. And in junior, his final year in junior, he had a 41-9-2 record. Unbelievable. This is a goalie that just, regardless of where he is playing, what league, he finds a way to win. He's got strong post-to-post movement, sometimes maybe being a little too aggressive, but he can whip out the strong desperation save when he needs to. He has really strong puck tracking and a really good glove hand. He loves to make those windmill saves, and he is a very fun goaltender to watch. He'll be backing up Cayden Primeau in Laval this season. We'll talk about Cayden momentarily, but McNiven is a very strong goalie in his own right and could really push Kaiden Primeau forward in terms of his development, but also, just provide that a perfect level of competitiveness in that position in our farm system. So I love the player. I also love that this organization has really strong depth at goal, not only at the NHL level to allow these prospects to develop, but serious depth in goaltending in the farm system as well. And that leads me to Kaiden Primeau. He is just 22 years old, 6'2", 209 pounds. He was drafted in round 7 of the 2017 draft by the Habs, an absolute steal. Following his selection by the Canadiens, he went on to become and still is one of the best goaltending prospects in the entire NHL. He went on a tear. The son of former NHLer Keith Primeau. In 2017, 2018, he was goaltender of the year, playing for Northeastern University, the same team that Struble and Harris play for now. 34 games played, a 1.92 goals against average, .931 save percentage. Just gross. And then the following year, goaltender of the year again, and NCAA's top goalie. 2018-19, again for Northeastern, 36 games played, 2.09 goals against, .933 save percentage. He also won the NCAA championship that year, and he coupled that as starter for the American team in the World Juniors and was lights out. Came just short of winning the gold medal, and if they would have won that, he may have also been in contention for goaltender of the tournament as well. And then following his junior career, he has slowly taken the reins as Laval's starting goaltender in Montreal's farm system. In his first season, 33 games played, a .908 save percentage. And then just last year in the COVID-shortened season, he had 16 games played, .909 save percentage to go along with an 11-4 record. A fantastic year for him last year. Laval was poised to make the playoffs and go on a run, but the AHL did not hold playoffs. Very unfortunate because Cayden rises to the moment and plays really strong when it matters most. Now, goalies typically take quite a while to develop. He's young. He's just 22. The Carter Harts and Carey Prices of the world that jump into the NHL in their early 20s, Vasilevsky, another one. That is quite rare. And Carey Price and Jake Allen are going to be the Habs goaltending duo for at least another couple years here, maybe longer for Carey. So I actually like that this gives Cayden time to get a ton of starts for Laval in the AHL. But even still, just in his short NHL career so far, he has shown glimpses of brilliance. Not just the highlight reel saves that he makes, including a couple in the NHL, but he reads plays so well. He's got strong vision through traffic. He's got really good rebound control, and that is important for a goaltending prospect. I also like that he stays calm and compact in net. Not many holes on him. He's got a good glove hand, and he projects to be a #1 goaltender in the NHL in the future. I'm very hopeful and excited that he potentially can get there and be the heir to Carey Price in Montreal. I love that he gets to be mentored by these guys as well, just to be around Carey and see what he can do. And I think Cayden, seeing Price's preparation and the way he approached the playoffs and that cup final run most recently, I think will have done wonders for Cayden's career. And I'm looking forward to see, how he plays in Laval the next couple years as starter. He needs quite a few more starts just to, get the feel of the game. And maybe when Jake Allen's contract runs up in a couple years, it'll be perfect timing for Cayden to then take over as backup as the Canadiens, continue to observe Carey play and eventually, take the reins as #1 many more years down the road here. Really excited about this prospect. So at number 5, we just had Kaiden Primeau and Michael McNiven sharing that spot. And now we'll go down to number 4. And in this slot, I have the small but speedy and very skilled left winger, Sean Farrell. He's turning 20 years old very soon here. He stands at 5'9", 175 pounds, drafted at round 4 of the 2020 draft by the Habs. He is coming off an absolutely legendary season in the USHL for the Chicago Steel, where he played 53 games and racked up 101 points, 29 of them being goals, 72 of them being assists. This is an incredible, highly skilled player. Now, it has to be mentioned that he was supposed to join the NCAA playing for Harvard, but because of COVID and all the Ivy Leagues being shut down, he could not play for them, so he played an additional year as an overager in the USHL and absolutely went off. But something else that has to be said, there were plenty of other players in his shoes as well that, while they also had really strong seasons, they didn't lead the entire league by a whopping 16 points. He had a 16-point gap between him and the next player in that league in terms of point scoring. So he absolutely lit it up, and he was named Junior Player of the Year in the United States. And I'm hopeful that the extra year to develop his skills and really become extremely confident in his abilities does wonders for his development. On the flip side of the coin, you may be able to say that, playing in a league that, you really don't belong to be in could hurt your development. But, we'll have to wait and see how his first year in the NCAA is, playing against big, tough men, because that will always be his knock. Just similar to Cole Caulfield, the size. How will Sean Farrell handle less time and space or battling with very large players and defensemen in opposition? But in terms of the way that Sean plays the game, he is an absolutely disgusting and dazzling playmaker. He loves to skate the puck around the zone, so I'd compare him to a Johnny Gaudreau, similarly, who was drafted in round 4, and his size at 5'9" as well, kept scouts away from him. Another comparable, maybe Matt Barzal, because of the way that he likes to, control the puck in the O-zone. Sean Farrell does the same thing. Fantastic puck protection, likes to skate that puck around and open up passing lanes and find teammates. Very, very exciting player to watch, has an extensive highlight reel. He's also a very high-level IQ player, great at causing turnovers and breaking up plays. Now, his weaknesses, giveaways, sometimes trying to do too much in the O-zone, skating into too much traffic or eventually running out of real estate when, maybe making the simple play is the better option. And again, the size could be what holds him back. We have to see how he plays against, bigger players. And the way the NHL is going, though, there very well could be space for Sean Farrell in the NHL in the near future. And could you imagine the possibility of having, Cole Caulfield on the right side and Sean Farrell on the left side? Cole is a very strong supporter of Sean Farrell, even going as far as tweeting that Sean Farrell was a steal of the 2020 NHL entry draft. So I'm going to jump on the bandwagon with Cole Caulfield and get really hyped and excited for this prospect, Sean Farrell. And that's why I have him ranked so high. And in a couple years' time, when guys like Hoffman and Toffoli, when their contracts are slowly coming to term, Sean Farrell might be able to slide in there into that middle six area on the wing for the Habs. Could be a perfect spot for him, especially considering the centers Montreal has in the pipeline and the potential of who he could play with eventually on our NHL roster. Very exciting. And now at number 3, we have the highly skilled offensive defenseman out of Sweden, Mattias Norlinder. 21 years old, 5'10", 179 pounds. He was drafted in the 3rd round in 2019 by the Habs in the Swedish Hockey League, the highest level of hockey in Sweden. Plays for Frölunda, 37 games played, 10 points. But his season was marred with injury. But when he was healthy, he was incredible out there, just dazzling skill, great shot, great passing vision. He does it all out there, and he's extremely fun to watch while doing it. He is just a fantastic skater, very fast north-south speed, and that's due to his crossovers as well as his edge work. He can maintain and even gain speed with his edges, and that's due to his pickup speed, and the crossovers are a big reason to that. He's also very mobile along the offensive blue line, going heel to heel with his skates if he needs to. Similarly to how Crosby will do it to open up space in the slot, Norlinder does it from the point. Just like Cale Makar has been doing in the NHL lately, just absolutely flooring people with his ability, with his skating edges, especially along the blue line, and the confidence that he has to make those moves. Norlinder is very, very similar. Mattias does a great job of using his skating to open up lanes and open up space. He's a fantastic power play quarterback. And just in general, he uses all of his skills together very, very well to be an extremely deceptive player. Very agile, great puck handling and deking. His one-timer is very hard and accurate. And if he has time and space to walk into a shot, he is going to rip one. A fantastic goal-scoring defenseman. Now, in terms of weaknesses, he can be a liability defensively. He is known as an offensive defenseman, though, so I'm not so sure I'd call that a glaring weakness. I mean, he's the type of guy you want to pair with a shutdown defenseman and then, use as a power play quarterback and a transition defenseman as well. But he gets knocked a little bit for his gap control, allowing the forwards pressuring him to, have a little bit too much time and space. He can also get lost a little bit defensively in the defensive zone, not reading when he has to cover for a teammate. But nonetheless, this is an extremely skilled prospect that we have on defense. He's the exact type of left-handed defenseman this Montreal Canadiens team will need. I would suggest that he is gonna challenge for a spot for the Habs this year, but it might be wise to have him go back to Frölunda and play a full season. Hopefully stay healthy. That is going to be the key to him. Play a full year for Frölunda without any injuries. Really show off his skill and his ability to, be the offensive catalyst on the blue line for a professional team. So if he can do that, I think he'll have a very long future in the NHL for the Montreal Canadiens. Now, like I mentioned, it's going to be really fun to watch him in training camp because he's going to do his best to challenge for a spot. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes, but I'm really looking forward to seeing him play. And now at number 2, big hulking defenseman, 19-year-old Kaiden Guhle. He's a left-hander, 6'3", 203 pounds. He was drafted in round 1 at number 16 overall in the 2020 NHL draft by the Habs. In 2018-19, in his rookie junior season for Prince Albert, 65 games played, 17 points. He followed that up for his draft year, again with Prince Albert, 64 games played, 11 goals, 29 assists for 40 points. Now, the following year, after he was drafted by Montreal, he was only able to play a total of 5 games, not including the World Juniors for Team Canada, where he looked absolutely stellar. But last year, he had the opportunity to play in the AHL. He played 3 games, and that normally would never happen at such a young age. But due to COVID and the CHL not being under operation, he got a chance to play with Laval, and he looked extremely comfortable, and that's very impressive for someone his age to look comfortable on defense, especially as well in a professional North American league. Now, I understand it's a small sample size, but nonetheless, he looked really, really good. He's also since been named the captain of the Prince Albert Raiders. And not only that, he is in contention to be the captain of Team Canada's World Junior team in a few months here. He's one of their veteran players, and that's really exciting for Habs fans to have a guy that's not only going to be named to Team Canada, but to captain them as well. Now, in terms of the way he plays, it is very difficult not to compare him to Shea Weber. When I talk about Cayden, I feel like I'm talking about Shea. The leadership, the shutdown defensive ability, the goal scoring. He is a very impressive defenseman. He's absolutely vicious in the corners, loves to use his big body to knock the opponents off the puck. He protects his goaltenders, but most importantly, in terms of his defensive play, is his rush defense. He's got fantastic gap control, body positioning, active stick to knock the puck away, but he'll also step up on the blue line and lay out his opposition trying to make that zone entry. And then he'll quickly recover and make a strong play up the ice to turn the puck around. He's a very strong skater, again like Norlinder, great crossovers, and for him to be as mobile as he is for such a big guy is also extremely impressive. He can move really well, and to go along with his defensive ability, he's got a strong wrist shot. If he can walk into it, it'll have a lot of power and accuracy, and his one-timer as well from the point is an absolute blast. Again, all these facets of his game very similar to Shea Weber. To go along with that, his business-like mentality, he's got a really good head on his shoulders, and he is a strong leader. So that all bodes well for his development over the next few years here. Now, I think it'll be important for Montreal to take their time with this player. It takes a while for a defenseman, especially of his size, to mature. So I definitely think we should be sending him back to Prince Albert to play a full year, especially because he didn't get to play much last year. He can captain his junior team, and then, you know, another season down the line in the AHL, season or 2 in the AHL could help him as well. And I like to highlight him at number 2 in my prospect list. You know, he may not have the offensive upside like a Mattias Norlinder, but I think this type of defenseman is crucial to a team's success. We saw what Shea Weber recently did in his cup final run with Montreal, and in general through his career. And right now, Montreal is loaded with the big hulking defensemen. You think Joel Edmondson, Ben Sherratt, but in a few years down the line here, when they're on their way out the door, Kaiden Guhle could be ready to step into Montreal's top 4, maybe even top pair. I'm extremely excited about this defenseman. Can't wait to watch him play through this training camp and then see how he does in his junior year and in the World Juniors. It's going to be really fun to watch him just punishing the opposition out there. Congratulations if you've made it this far. It is now time for my number 1 ranked Montreal Canadiens prospect. And this is a player who has a massive opportunity ahead of him this season. And that is center Ryan Poehling, 22 years old, 6'2", 197 pounds. He's a big boy. He was drafted in the first round of the 2017 draft by the Montreal Canadiens. Some hiccups in his development, dealt with some injuries shortly after his professional debut that kind of slowed him down, but he rebounded well and got his game back on track last season with a strong showing for Laval. But let's go back here. 2017-18 was St. Cloud State. 36 games played, 31 points. And he followed that up the next year, 2018-19. Another 36 games played, 31 points, showing that consistency. A little more playmaking in that season there. And then he makes his Habs debut, and he has the big 3-goal game and wins the game with the goal in the shootout as well. And because of that type of debut, especially against a team like the Toronto Maple Leafs, a rival, I think people's expectations got a little bit too high too quick on him, and maybe he himself thought he was further ahead in the organization depth chart than he really was. Nonetheless, the following season after his NHL debut, he was split between the NHL and AHL and kind of struggled. 13 points in the AHL and in 36 games, and only 2 points in 27 in the NHL. But then he rebounded. He got focused, and last year, a really impressive showing from him. 25 points in 28 games for Laval. He was one of their best players, getting up on the board, scoring goals, making plays. So it was great to see him get his development right back on track. And now he finds himself with a really good opportunity. This is a very strong defensive center. He is a true center. He takes his defensive responsibility in that position very seriously. He's also got some serious skill to go along with it. He's not the fastest skater or anything like that. He's not going to dazzle you. But great positioning leads to turnovers, leads to the puck going the other way, leads to him being involved in a lot of offensive plays. And let's not forget, he's quite skilled. It's only been a couple years since he was named MVP of the World Junior Championship, playing for the United States. Overall, Ryan Poehling is a high IQ hockey player who takes all of his responsibilities at center very seriously. It leads to him being involved in a lot of plays where defensively he'll create a turnover, then the puck's going the other way, and he likes to challenge that slot area. Park himself there, look for the deflections and tips, and that's how he scores a lot of his goals. He's got fantastic hand-eye coordination. He also has a good shot when he uses it. He can pick a corner when he wants to. So another prospect I am really excited for. I truly believe that the heightened expectations after his NHL debut and then the injury woes are what derailed his development, but I'm glad to see him back on track. He looks focused, he looks in shape, and ready to take a spot on this Habs roster. It's a huge opportunity that he has, and I hope he seizes it. Now, Mattias Norlinder and Kaiden Guhle likely have higher ceilings than Ryan Poehling. I mean, those guys can be top 4 defensemen, maybe even top pair defenseman in the NHL one day. But I put Ryan in the number 1 spot here because I believe he is the closest to making that jump into the NHL. He may have a ceiling as a third-line center. He'll be battling for the 4th spot, maybe even this year between Jake Evans and Cedric Paquette. But you know how Montreal loves their defensive centers like Phil Deneau. So the sky's the limit for Ryan Poehling, and I'm really hoping this former first-round pick here can pan out. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this top 10 prospect list down in the comments, and I cannot wait to start watching some preseason hockey and then get this regular season underway. Look out for my full Montreal Canadiens season preview coming soon here. Hope you can join me for the live stream Friday. Cheers, guys. Go Habs, go! Woo! Woo! Hope you guys enjoy the top 10 prospect list. I put a ton of work into it, and all of it's for you guys. I sincerely hope you enjoy it. Much love. Look out for my full Montreal Canadiens season preview coming here soon. Until then, enjoy the prospect list. Cheers, guys. Go Habs, go, baby. Transition game. He's really good at getting that puck up the ice and specifically exiting the zone with him. Habs. He is a two-way defenseman who has a really strong transition game. He uses his strong skating to help very efficiently and uses that to cut off passing lanes, cause turnovers. Ugh. Now, in terms of the way that Josh plays the game, he is a highly intelligent player, reads plays very efficiently. He's always one step ahead. He uses that ability to cut off passing lanes, create turnovers.